Yeah, Joy Villa on the track.
So many people trying to stop me from speaking. So many people trying to keep me from thinking. But I'm awake and I'm tired of sleeping.
No going back, no going back. Mental prison, slavery of the mind. Education, keeping us in line. Propaganda controls our youth. Stolen culture, broken truth.
In place of conversation, the system that we've got won't solve the situation. My thoughts ain't got nothing to do with my persuasion. It's more than just a race relation.
Choose life, freedom's what you find. Break chains, free thoughts not a crime. Propaganda controls our youth. Soul culture, broken truth. Activities exposing the toxicities. Who's the truth?
Good morning, Joy Tribe. This is the Joy Vila Show. Welcome to another fantastic episode. It is Tuesday morning, June 10th. We go live every weekday at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. This is the Joy Vila Show. If you don't know, my name is Joy Vila. I'm the hostess with the mostest of this show, and we talk about the 5 pillars of joy: faith, freedom, finance, fitness, and family. And today we're gonna talk about a bit of family by having 2 very special guests on the show, and I'm really excited. And everybody, we don't always do well. I mean, we do different things on this show, and sometimes when we have guests, the chat gets very excited. So, chat, I want you guys. I already see a ton of comments in the chat. I want you guys to get your questions in so that you understand what's happening. This is a victorious, incredible story that you're definitely not going to want to miss. So grab your coffee, your protein shakes, your water, and I'm going to welcome my amazing guests. First, this is Jean Marie Davis. Well, before I welcome her, because we're going to dun 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 and keep the suspense, I want to show you that we are having a gala to talk about the film. We are making a movie about her life, and it's called Breaking Shadows. You've heard me talk about this incredible film. It's going to be awesome, and you're cordially invited to attend our gala, which is happening the 17th of October in Ocala, Florida. So we've got incredible speakers, including Jean Marie Davis. She was human trafficked from age 2 to 29. And I, have the honor of playing her in the film, of being able to write the screenplay. It's directed by Antonio Sabato Jr. and produced by Pastor Natalia Wolf. So we're doing a gala, Breaking Shadows Gala, to end human trafficking, and it's a fundraiser for the film. That is it on the screen. Please take a look at breakingshadowsgala.com, or you can go to breakingshadowsmovie.com to find out more about the film. So today's interview with her is not going to be necessarily about the film, but about a groundbreaking historical victory that she's had for pregnancy centers. And I'm going to bring up Jean Marie Davis, who is a survivor and a fighter and a woman of God, and her incredible lawyer, Gabriella McIntyre, who helped her win this lawsuit. And we're going to bring them up to the stage right now. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Good morning. Thank you.
Morning.
Yes. And Gabriella, you're with Alliance Defending Freedom.
That's right.
Which is an awesome, well, what do you guys, I'll let you explain it in your own, words, because you guys do a lot of stuff.
Sure. Yeah. So we are a Christian legal organization, so essentially a nonprofit law firm. And we advocate for the right of every person in this country and also internationally to be able to live and speak the truth. So we have a couple of areas of focus. We have the Center for Life, which is where I work, where we've gotten to work with Jean Marie. We advocate for religious freedom, for parental rights, marriage and family. I mentioned life, freedom of speech, and academic freedom. And we have advocated before the Supreme Court actually a bunch of times. And praise God, we've had 15 Supreme Court victories since 2011. One of them was assisting with the Dobbs case, which overturned Roe versus Wade. And we're also waiting on a ruling in another case having to do with life called Medina versus Planned Parenthood. We expect a ruling from the Supreme Court any day. And that's the case about defunding Planned Parenthood.
This is awesome. This is so great. So we want to hear, you guys do so much and you've had so many successes. Did you say 16 Supreme Court cases?
15 Supreme Court victories. And I think about 77 other Supreme Court cases that we've at least had a hand in.
Wow.
We're hoping that Medina will be the 16th.
Wow. Medina. What is Medina?
So Medina versus Planned Parenthood was a case out of South Carolina where the state of South Carolina decided that it wanted to redirect its limited taxpayer funds, Medicaid funds, away from big abortion, so places like Planned Parenthood, and towards comprehensive care clinics, which it already has in the state. So that's the issue that's being litigated right now. So essentially, the question is whether the state of South Carolina can disqualify Planned Parenthood and other big abortion organizations from its Medicaid funding.
Okay, got it. All right. So Jean Marie Davis, my sister from another mister, tell us about this case. How did this start? How did you two get involved in this? And in simple terms, because we're not all lawyers out here. We're not smart as Gabriella here. But the chat is blowing up with love and loving that you guys are here. So tell me, how did it get into your lap, this fight for pregnancy centers?
Yes. So we had a meeting with all of the directors. The ADF came to us, and they explained about the new law that had been put into place. And it was basically hindering on our freedom of speech and actually essentially helping women like myself who needed essential opportunities of different options. And so the state kind of cracked down on us and was putting a fine of $10,000 to our centers and saying that if we quote unquote mislead them, and they gave us an example that a woman's center was considered misleading for a woman to come, and that we were setting them up to show that we were going to actually unalive a child, or it was misleading in all different ways. And so,
and you're running a pregnancy center.
Yes.
So what you do, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, and the chat is blowing up, they love it. Ganja Girl says, such great guests, such an amazing story. God is so good, says Lovely Chaos. So this is great. Everybody's loving this so far, which I love. And chat, get your questions in because we want to do a little Q&A, but first we want to get the victory out. But just to set the stage, so you run a pregnancy center which helps women with options, right? So that
Yeah.
they know they're not alone. If they have an unwanted pregnancy, a difficult pregnancy, they're stuck in a situation, you're giving them the options. There's adoption, there's care, there's different places so that they don't have to feel like they have to unalive their child, right?
Correct.
Which
And
is what other
what
places
our
just say, just
center,
get rid of it. But you're saying, no, you don't have to. There's options to help and love, which is personal for me too, which
right.
I love that because I gave a child up for adoption when I had a very difficult pregnancy at 19 years old. So this is pregnancy centers save lives, y'all. They
Yeah.
save lives.
And so what we did was, and even essentially, because we're in a low income, we're in Brattleboro, Vermont, so we're in very low income community. So our center, we do is not only we go above and beyond to where if a woman is having struggles with their pregnancy and they're in college, we actually have a scholarship to help them go through college. The same scholarship that I essentially went through to help me to be a single mother. So we have different things, you know, from diapers to clothes to essentially anything that they need, even helping them with their finances. So we literally walk with them. Our saying here is to do life with each other. So, and that's not just my center, but it's all, I think it's 9 of our centers in Vermont that we all work together and we do this. And so when ADF came to us about this, this bill, or that essentially turned into a law, and we had originally went to the senators and we tried to talk to them and share with them that this is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is what we do. I even explained that I was a client at one time, 10 years prior, that I was, you know, that I was looking to abort my child, but I went to a pregnancy center and they helped me. They got me into a program.
Yes. After being trafficked for almost 30 years, prostitution, violence, all this stuff, you went to a pregnancy center and they helped you. And so you're telling your own story, which is real and raw and filled with hope. And they're trying to attack pregnancy centers for doing the same thing.
Right. And so when ADF came to us and they asked, will somebody, because at the time there was a lot of stuff going on. It was about 2 years ago. And so I looked at ADF and I said, I'm not a medical site, but if you need me, I'm here. That was kind of my, like, okay. And so we got the phone call and they said, Jean, will you come on the case with us? And I said, sure. You know, and it was funny because the other director, Deb, who I love dearly, I actually had called her after we had the meeting with ADF and I said, you're the Deborah, or you're the Esther. It's such a time as this. I said, I'll be with you. I will pray with you. I'll do everything. And then they called me. They said, can you be in the lawsuit with Deb? I was like, wait, what? I didn't mean like that close with her. So we kind of worked together for the last 2 years, essentially walking on eggshells. Because we didn't know what to do. They wouldn't even, it was at one point where they wouldn't let me do a pregnancy test in my center to hand out a pregnancy test. They had that. They wouldn't
now
allow
who's
me.
they? Who's they?
The state of Vermont. That would
so it's the state of Vermont who's attacking you guys, right?
Yes.
So it's state of Vermont versus the pregnancy center.
Yes.
Wow. To go against the state, that's pretty intense.
Who you telling? ADF had to come alongside and walk us through this because it was to the point where essentially it was my freedom of speech that they were hindering for me to share. Like, so basically we couldn't even give the information of the APR.
What's APR?
Which is the abortion reversal pill. We couldn't give out information to clients and saying, hey, so if a woman walked in and say, hey, I made a mistake. I actually want to keep my child, but I took this. I couldn't even hand her information.
Not even a pamphlet, not even a website. That's crazy. So how is that? Okay, I'm pro-life. Obviously, we're pro-life here at the Joy Vila Show, but we have viewers of all different backgrounds and beliefs. But if you were pro-choice, you think you would want someone to have information, right? You would want someone to isn't that the essence of a choice? And so it doesn't make sense to shut down pregnancy centers when there are women running to it saying, give me my options, and they're in a tragic situation where they're like, I need options. And if you tell someone their only option is to unalive your child or raise your child, they're going to think, they're like, I can't raise my child. But like you said, you have scholarships available even for college age moms. That's what people don't talk about. This is not a political issue. This is a heart issue. This is a helping women issue. This is something that should not have been ever attacked by the state. So I want to ask Gabriella, when this case was brought to your attention, were you like, oh yeah, we got it, cut and dry, been there, done that? Or were you like, this is unique and special?
Well, we're actually seeing kind of a trend, especially after Dobbs, but certainly before it as well, when Roe versus Wade was overturned, where there's been a concerted effort of targeting for harassment by both state governments and also private actors, these pregnancy resource centers that are serving these vital roles, as you were mentioning, as Jean was describing, Jean Marie. They're serving these vital roles in their communities, and yet we have state governments, and Vermont's not the only one, that are taking action to try to target and harass pregnancy resource centers. We're seeing this in other states like New York, in New Jersey, in Washington, in California. So it's happening all over the place. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
are they doing this?
To try to silence and censor their speech. And in particular, I know Jean Marie mentioned abortion pill reversal. That's essentially just supplemental progesterone. Progesterone is a natural occurring pregnancy hormone that's been used to help continue pregnancies for decades. And the abortion lobby, they don't want women to know that there is even an option to be able to attempt to reverse the life-ending effects of that first abortion drug, mifepristone, when they've gone through a chemical abortion, and change their minds, which women have a right to do.
Absolutely. Women have a right to make their own decisions over their bodies and the bodies of their children, especially in a situation when they're pregnant. This is something that I believe all women, all feminists, all women around the world should defend, because if you tell a woman she doesn't get that sort of information, that's lying to someone. That's a very like cult like mindset. That's a very dangerous thing. And to tell somebody they shouldn't get that information, or let's block women from receiving it. What are you afraid of? You know, if you're afraid of somebody Googling something, getting information, getting a pamphlet, hearing about an alternative, that means what you're offering is not the right thing. That's a red flag to me. If you can't allow someone to do the research for the opposite, right?
And we've had stories from a number of women who have come to us and told us, I thought I made a mistake. I took the first drug, and then I Googled, is there any way for me to stop this process? And because they saw the statements by some of these pregnancy resource centers in places like New York, they figured out they had that option. They sought out help. They took the progesterone, and their babies are alive today. So it's incredible. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. We're saving lives. You guys are saving lives. You're heroes. So this is wonderful. I want to take a few questions from the audience. There's some comments here, which is really awesome. Lovely Chaos. She's a regular viewer. She says, such an amazing story. God is so good. Amen. Amen. Ganja Girl says, such great guests. She also says, freedom of speech is so important. And she says, I have a slightly different views, but I like hearing a different perspective. See, this is awesome. This is why I love having guests. Joy Tribe is different views. That's why I call my followers and my viewers. Everybody has different views. I'm very outspoken about mine, but I allow other people to disagree, and we still love each other. Imagine that. We actually don't want to shut down somebody's free speech. Imagine that in America. Lovely Chaos says, Satan is running free in this world. They don't want women to know the truth or to be aware of other options besides unaliving their babies. So unfortunate, so sad. This message is so important, also says Lovely Chaos. Absolutely. And Ganja Girl says, if they take away your freedom of speech, mine might be next. What a great way to look at it too, because if one person has their freedom of speech taken away, everyone has their freedom of speech taken away, right? So tell us a little bit about how they came in with this taking away freedom of speech in detail. I mean, you guys already talked about it, but Jean, what did it look like when you were there trying to talk to these women and suddenly the state of Vermont is coming down on you? Like what put us there in that moment? What was happening?
So it was scary because the state said, we're coming into your centers. So senators were actually coming into our certain centers to walk around essentially and look through all of our stuff. I was getting
like the Gestapo.
I was getting phone calls and saying, well, you don't have this and you don't have that. And I'm like, I'm not a medical center. And they're like, well, what are you doing with your paperwork? And what are you doing with this? And so we were getting harassed on the phone calls. It got to the point where we were trying to hold we would hold, what is it? Sorry, it was last year. There was so much stuff that happened last year.
I know.
I could cry.
Was it the diaper drive?
The diaper drive. We had all different types of stuff that were going on, and we had to have police. We were doing a picnic in the park, and we had to have police protect us because they were doing threats on Facebook, and they were like, people in the state were coming after us and saying we're doing different things. And I'm like, I'm just here trying to have a family day in the community.
Horrible.
Like it was, police were coming around. They were asking.
Were they protest? Were people protesting or trying to? They were telling the food places that we were trying to have come and set up their little taco trucks and stuff. If you come, we're not going to no longer eat there. We're going to ban you. It was to the point where the food trucks were like, we're not going to come. And I'm like, I just want to serve the kids. Like we're just horrible.
It got really out of hand. But it got to the point where we couldn't. If a girl came, we didn't know what to do. There was times where I would get phone calls from other directors and saying, Jean, how do we walk? I mean, essentially it was almost like they were trying to paralyze us from actually speaking and doing what we do best, which is helping women like me. And that's what it was. It was so personal. And I mean, it's still personal because this is, in my eyes, I'm like, what if you did this 10 years ago? My kid wouldn't be here and I'd be dead. Like I was running from my life. I would have been dead. And so for the state to do that and to even say like, oh, we know that we don't have any complaints, but we just want to put these barriers up already. Like in the court hearing in front of the judge and saying, we just want to put this, like, you don't do that. Especially when I have a client come into my center and say, Jean, I'm 17 weeks pregnant right now, and I want to keep this baby because my pimp had me in a closet a year ago, beating me to where I had a violent miscarriage, and I don't want that to happen. Or when I have a prostitute that gets in my car and say that my pimp's cut my brake cords and I think I'm pregnant and I don't want to unalive a child again because they're going to do, like, how do I not help these women who are just like me? And then the state comes after me and says that I don't have the right to speak freely, to share truth to them. That's what hurts me the most. Like, do what you want, but don't tell me I can't speak the freedom of just saying, hey, this is your options. That's all I'm doing. You're
not telling them what to do. You're not telling them how to do it. You're just saying, here are your options. And you're not going out and recruiting people. People are coming to you.
Right.
Women who need help.
We had the chief of police who is pro-choice, Black and same-sex relationship. And she said, Jean, I need to come and see your center. And I said, please do. Like, we have nothing to hide. This is what blows my mind away, that we have nothing to hide. So I said, sure. And she walked through and I said, we do not refer, nor do we recommend unaliving a child. I said, however, if a woman walks out my door after we have given her the options of, listen, if you're going to college, we have a scholarship program for you to be able to afford college and all that stuff. We have adoptions. We have where we'll walk with you. I mean, we do formula. We do everything. I just got a futon. Somebody just donated a futon to us. Like, whatever you need, we'll get it for you to help you raise your child. But if you decide that's still in your mind and you walk out the door and that's what you decide, then I told the chief of police, they could come back and we will do a post-abortion class where we will sit down and we will walk with them through that psychological issue that they did, because that's a psychological situation.
Hallelujah.
So, I mean, we'll still
You're providing everything. I mean, you're providing care from the beginning. And if they still walk out the door and don't take any of your resources, you're not going to stop them. There's nothing that anybody can hate on a pregnancy center like yours. And I find that most pregnancy centers do this. And it's very misinterpreted by people. It's a political issue. And they're like, oh, Republicans and conservatives and Christians and churches want to shut down women's right to choose. Okay, I think you want to shut down women's right to choose because you're not stopping. And when I hear those people yelling, you're not stopping, you're stopping women from having the right to make decisions, of having the array of options provided for them. And like you said, you're not stopping the woman from making her own decision at the end of the day, but you're going to give her the resources. And if she walks out and goes to Planned Parenthood and comes back and now is, because a lot of times people don't know, when you have that procedure done, it hurts a woman, many women, and they can't talk about it because they'll be deemed less Democrat or less feminist or less whatever it is, right? And I don't think this is a political issue, but unfortunately, it's been politicized. It's a human issue. But if a woman can't even say, "Hey, listen, I'm dealing with psychological, spiritual, and emotional, and sometimes physical issues from having that procedure that they told me is safe, rare, and effective," which it's not. It effectively terminates the life of a child. You'll still have her come over and you'll help her with that. Like,
and we walk with our
that's
saying
beautiful.
here. We have it actually on our wall. It says, "Welcome to Branches, where we do life with each other." It when you walk into our center, that is the first thing any client comes in sees.
Wow.
Whatever that looks like.
And the center is Branches. Can people, I'm going to put that at the bottom of your name. What's the website for Branches?
Branchesprc.com.
If you guys, Joy Tribe, if you have heard her story and you want to support what Jean is doing and Gabriella has been doing, and please go to Branches PRC. So that'd be Pregnancy Center, right? PRC. Branches, PRC.com, and donate even $5, $10. You guys take clothes donations and things?
We take clothes. We had pots and pans. We had one of our clients who needed dishes. We had dishes for them, strollers. Essentially, we have clothes. We have men's clothes that go all the way up to 4T because we have homeless people. We have homeless families. So some of them can't do laundry. So we basically provide for their free clothes. So it's men's clothes, women's clothes. We do children's clothes all the way up to like 10 years old. We have clients that have 10-year-old kids that we still support. I just messaged one of my other clients and said, "Hey, do you need a box of food?" We do boxes of food for them.
Look at that.
And stuff like we really, whatever you need, we're here to do life with you.
Yeah.
We all struggle in the situation. Sometimes we end up in a situation where we didn't expect it. It was not the right time, or certain situations happen. My situation, my son came out of rape. I get it. I understand. Some have their opinions on that. I can tell you, my 10-year-old, he's actually here at the center helping us. Like, he brought in donations like this. Like, we're here to walk with you. And for the state to say, "No, we're going to fine you $10,000 on misleading," and to say, "Hey, that's when it became really difficult.
Because you can't do your job. You can't talk to women. You can't help women.
And essentially, they would shut down $10,000.
That's a lot.
I could do. You hit me 3 times, and my center has to close.
Whew. Yeah, we're not talking about that you're making millions in donations. This isn't big, big pregnancy center.
No,
this is
because we don't take state or federal funding. We literally, whatever our donors, people. I have a older woman who's in her 80s who gives $5 a month. Wow. And I thank her all the time. Like, we have churches in some businesses, but we don't take state or federal funding. We literally rely on God and say, "Okay, here, help us provide for these women," and however that may look.
Hallelujah. Oh my gosh, we got to keep you guys in our prayers. So thank you for presenting that, because it shows the whole picture, of what they're attacking. Gabriella, when you took on this case, and then now you're saying it's a free speech issue, it's all these kind of things legally, what did it have to be? Like, is it like, tell me about the process and how and who you brought it to, and how that ended up becoming not the end yet, but just that process of, okay, here's what this legal case is. This is how we do it. And then is that a long process? Is it complicated? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think, and Jean Marie can attest to this, litigation takes a little while. It's not as quick as you would think, but it's very
Not like
important,
the
obviously.
movies?
Yeah, right. I wish it were like the movies sometimes. I'm very glad it's not a lot of the time.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we assessed the law, and the effects that it was having. Obviously, the law itself on its face, it had two provisions. The first was an advertising provision. That's what Jean Marie was talking about, where the attorney general could essentially come in and deem their speech misleading. And in the law itself, it actually had a provision, the legislative intent provision of the law. It had a full litany of all the reasons why the state legislature, or whoever put the law together, thought that these pregnancy resource centers were acting misleadingly. So we knew that was going to happen, that they were going to be targeted in this way. The
Mm.
law itself also specifically targeted just these pregnancy resource centers. It only applied to facilities that help pregnant women, that care for pregnant women that do not refer or provide abortions. And so this was blatant viewpoint
That's
discrimination, which
crazy.
is impermissible under the Constitution. There was
Right.
also a provider provision as well that had to do with if an individual is not licensed by the state, and Jean Marie mentioned this before as well, if the individual wasn't licensed by the state, they couldn't hand out certain pamphlets, they couldn't give certain information. Whereas you know that if you walk into a Planned Parenthood or another abortion facility, they've got volunteers who are handing information, educational information out all the time.
Right.
So because this was viewpoint discriminatory, because this law only applied to these pregnancy resource centers, which, as I mentioned, play these vital roles in their community, that was blatantly a violation of the First Amendment.
Nice. You saw that and you were like on it. So
Mhm.
then you had to present this. What court? What happens next? It's to the state. You have to go to the state court.
Well, this was because it had federal issues, this was to federal court.
Wow.
So yeah, so when there's
So when
violations of your
the
civil
state
rights.
attacked you guys, you can take it federal. You're like, hey, the state's not behaving. We need to take this federal.
Right. So when there's a violation of constitutional rights, your civil rights, you have the ability to bring a suit in federal court to vindicate those rights. And in this case, that was the free speech rights of not only Jean Marie's center, but also another center, and then a conglomerate of centers that we also sued on behalf of.
That's amazing. That's so cool. It's so badass because it's like, okay, you want to mess with us? We're going to go federal. And you just go above their heads. Now, how did the state of Vermont react? Did you
Oh.
guys still have like things attacks, Gene? Did you have like people coming and saying nasty things, still trying to boycott?
Throughout the last 2 years, it was constant. It was there was one time at one point I had to tell my staff, don't answer the phones. I will be the only one to answer the phones.
Because you get hate calls?
We got hate calls. We got all kinds of stuff. We had
Oh my
people
God.
coming against us in many different ways, and stuff. Upset if we received a grant from somewhere or whatever. They were highly upset. So people would call. So it just got to the point where it was antagonizing. And so I would tell my staff, to protect my staff, I will take the phone calls. And I was screening the phone calls, and then I would say, okay, you could talk to this person or you could talk to that person, just so that I can make sure that they were not harassing my staff.
Wow. The harassment. I mean, now when you sued Gabriella, is it like you can also sue for harassment for damages? Or is that
Well, so this would be the harassment that Jean Marie is talking about is from private parties, so that was not a part of
it
this
wasn't the
lawsuit.
state? Yeah.
Right, right. So
Can you sue
typically,
those people too? I'll sue them
that
for you.
yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
it's an interesting question. I guess if it rises to the level of a legal issue, then certainly those are avenues that you can consider as well against
Yeah, I
private
think
parties. But
harassment, this is just I think harassment should not be, I mean, it's obviously it's not legal, but it should be taken more seriously. That harassment on all cases against people, we have people getting harassed for, their religious freedom, for Christians, for standing up. I left Scientology and I know that I'm going to get harassed, and I've been getting harassed on a small part, but I know people who get harassed for leaving cults, for leaving organizations. That needs to be put in its place, that is not okay to intimidate, harass, and stalk. And I know from a lot of women that this happens to, that it's not taken seriously. So maybe that's that's the next case, like you shouldn't be allowed to just bully people just because you disagree with them. Gene, they disagreed with what you were doing. You're helping women. And so they're bullying you to the point where your staff can't even do their job. You have to take over, and you're a single mom, and you're freaking running around doing other events. You're speaking, you're fundraising for other pro-life pregnancy, anti-human trafficking events. She's an author. We're making a movie. It's not like you're just sitting, twiddling your thumbs. You didn't really have time for this. And yet you had to have all of this on your shoulders.
Yeah. Well, and go ahead, Gabrielle.
No, go ahead, Jean.
And to like sit there and just say, I'm okay with you liking the sky purple and me liking the sky blue.
Right. Let's agree to disagree.
If you don't, because essentially this is the thing, if you don't want our services, that's fine. You have a choice. Just like if you go to a doctor and you go to a hospital and you look at all the doctors, you have a choice to pick whatever doctor you want. You can say, no, I don't want this person. I want that person. Yeah. You have that freedom.
My grandma, Indian doctors only. She would tell you, no, I want an Indian doctor, a white doctor, black doctor. She said Indian. She said the best are Indian doctors. So she would say, no, bring me, Pradeep, and then they would.
and that's fine. Everybody has that choice. That's freedom of choice.
That's right.
So because of that, for us, it would have been different if the law had included everybody. But when you just specifically say no pregnancy centers, and it specifically, it was the unjust government coming and attacking us in a way where it was like, wait a minute, what? Like, it was kind of like we were still trying to process it. Like, we've been in this for 2 years, and there's still times where I got directors calling, like, trying to process. Okay, is this the government trying to send us something and trying to catch us up on something? There was one time where they sent out something, which is something normal, but I was like, wait, don't do anything. Let me call our attorneys to make sure that this is
not a trap.
This is not a trap. Yeah. I don't know how many emails I didn't send to our attorneys and was like, okay, can you look at this? Let us know what we're like. What's the next step? Do we say something? Do we not say something? Like, do we answer this or not? And it just became like, why can't we just do our job?
It's crippling. It's crippling.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank God for you, Jean Marie Davis. Thank God for you, Gabriella McIntyre, with Alliance Defending Freedom. You guys do such good work. And as an aside, the videos you've done with Jean and telling her story are so gorgeous. And every time I reshare them, because Jean tells her story, Joy Tribe, and they're so beautiful. And I post them, and it gets like 10,000, 20,000 views because they're just so beautifully. And I'm an art visual person, right? As a filmmaker, and the music and the editing, I'm like, oh my gosh. So whoever's doing that for you guys is doing really good. And you guys can check out Alliance Defending Freedom, Joy Tribe, as well. If you'd like to donate, support, utilize their services. These ladies need prayer because they're fighting in the lion's den. And I want to read some comments. Lovely Chaos says, I love the strength and power of these ladies. Yes, totally. Lovely Chaos also says it's all about them taking our freedom away, starting with having all the information. They want to guide our decisions. Yeah, when you take away somebody's decision-making tools, it's the critical thinking skills, go out the window. It's like, just make this decision. This is it. This is it. And you're like, what's behind that? There's usually money. You can smell the money when people do that, right? It's just like someone's getting paid to push women into this only option, right? Why wouldn't you want women to have other options? Fat Grammy says, I don't, and we love Fat Grammy here, aka Minister Mona. I don't understand how people feel entitled to bully and harass others with different opinions. Exactly. And Maurice is in the house. Maurice Delk says, hello, welcome to the chat. Ganja Girl says, I'm good with options being presented as long as there's no leading and the woman truly make her own choice. The woman truly makes her own choice with the help of God and isn't pressured into any specific option. Right. That's what we're talking about too. Someone says, yes, just see California. Time to wake up. Yep, we know what's happening in California right now, which is sad. And JCL, who normally blows up the chat, he's also one of our moderators. And please like, subscribe, and share. We have over 200 people watching this live. I'm sure there's going to be over 1,000 by the time at the end of the show, because it's a spicy, awesome topic. JCL says, sorry, I haven't got much to say. I'm just listening and absorbing the information. That's all right. You can just absorb it. It's a lot. It's beautiful. So this is wonderful. I want to now fast forward to the victory. What does that mean for you guys, for America, for pregnancy centers?
Oh, you want
Who
me?
wants to start? I want both of you ladies. Who wants to?
I'm sure we both have lots to say. Yeah.
Legally, I haven't done nothing. All Gabriella and ADF has done everything. I've just been walking through it. But no, they actually came back and rewrote a brand new law.
Wow.
And they basically amended a law to where it now includes, yes, right?
Awesome.
Now it includes everybody. So that EDI or EDI or DEI or whatever, that inclusiveness of everybody, that's basically what they did. They finally came back and they included everybody. That's from the Planned Parenthoods and different places, a doctor, nurse, like everybody. So basically, if someone is misleading, then everybody gets
targeted rather than just you guys, which you should have never been in the first place. Like that clear bias. Wow. So the law was rewritten. That's huge. Gabriella, how easy is that to do, or how hard is it to rewrite a freaking law?
Yeah, I mean, and the amendment, so the amendment did a couple of things. It got rid of the provider provision altogether. And then it amended that second provision, that advertising provision, to no longer target, as Jean Marie was saying, these pregnancy resource centers, but also took out the language about the legislative intent that shows why they thought they needed to do this, which obviously was unconstitutional, viewpoint discriminatory. But it's a huge victory because it was because of the brave stance and the courageous stance that Jean Marie and the other two centers took against this unlawful and unjust law that we got this victory. So Jean Marie, don't minimize.
Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, it's because of our clients. They're the ones who, we like to say, they boldly walk into the wind. They're just trying to be faithful servants and faithful witnesses and do what God has set forth for them to do. And they can't do that. We're just the foot that nudges itself in when they try to close the door on our clients. So it's really God. It's them who takes the bravery and the courage and the stamina to continue on.
This is awesome.
I think at one point, because I was getting so frustrated because it was just done, I was just like, I just want these people to apologize. That's what I was telling our attorneys. I said, I just want these people to apologize for their lack of knowledge of who we are and what we do. Like you're doing stuff that you don't have no clue. Like you're making judgmental comments and you're making a judgmental stance on something that you blindly have no idea. And to come against someone who lived it. Like I'm not just talking in a director, to just be like, oh yeah, this is something I love to do.
Wearing random person who's like, they always say like straight white men making, about women's bodies. Well, this is not that. This is a woman who's lived it, been there, done that, and has the scars to show it.
Right. And I told him, I said, and I asked him, and that's why I was like, when I got the win, I think I screamed so loud. I saw it on social media and I was like, yes.
Because that's how you found out? You saw it on social media?
I found it. It was like the ADF had posted. It was like 38 minutes it had been posted. And I called my president.
Their social media is so good. I'm taking pointers on ADF social media.
It was like, and I had called my pastor because you understand, like the Christians in Vermont were getting weary. They were tired. They were pastors were, they were discouraged. They were, I had pastors coming against me. I had so many people. They were like, Gene, why are you standing for this? I'm like, what do you mean? And then for my pastor, who is my president of my board, who's been a pastor for almost 50 years, and I called him, and I was like, we won. We won. We did it. And he was like, like, we made a difference, because at the end of the day, it brings it to where, okay, you all really understand that this is not correct. Like, and that's where you can
That's life-saving, because now
Right.
you're saving other women's lives, other babies'
Right.
lives. You're helping other pregnancy centers to thrive. Maybe other people wanted to start a pregnancy center, but they saw this attacks on you guys, so they didn't. Right? You don't realize how much that ripples out what you ladies
Right.
did, and the team that worked with you, and the other pregnancy centers that joined, because it really takes a village to do something this major and victorious.
And it helps other pregnancy centers across the nation because of this type of win.
Yes.
Like, it gives other pregnancy centers hope. Like, okay, if crazy Vermont can say, yep, we're wrong, then at the end of the day, we can say, hey, we have this opportunity where we can use this, and we can show this. If they have to go to court, if they have to do, that's where I think I can cry. That's where I know that it's like, I finally did something for another woman, because children are a blessing.
They are. Like,
I know that people say that they're not, they're a mistake or whatever, or this was a bad situation, but there truly is a blessing, and so for women to have that opportunity in one of the most hostile states in New England. And I don't know if people understand what, New England, or even if they even know where Vermont's at, it's next to New York, just in case you don't know where that state's at. Like, they're the neck of New England. They dictate how New England runs, and it becomes a very hostile environment. And it was like, there were so many people, so many Christians that were like relieved. They were like, Gene, we didn't have the courage to do this. We've seen more people come back to church behind this. We've seen more people understand like who Christ is, and the love. Like, you can show love and hold your line. And you can keep. So that's where I feel like our center made a difference, and not just in the political or the legal world, but just in the community. When I have the chief of police call me up a week and a half ago, and say, hey, we got some stuff going on. We need you. Are you back? Like, literally, for the chief to say to me, are you finally back from traveling and doing all this stuff? And I know that you just won, but we need you in the community. We need you to speak up. We need your help right now. Like, that's what we do. That's the kind of support we bring to our community. When we work with the hospital, and the hospital refers someone who was thinking of unaliving their child, and they said, no, well, why don't you go to Branches? And then we walk, and then last year she had her baby boy, and she still comes. Like, and we still have her. She was like, Gene, I'm struggling with my apartment. They're not, and it's like, hold on, I'm on housing line. Let me talk to the housing. Let me see what, like, that's the kind of relationship we have in our community. And now that tension is no longer here, I mean, we have other stuff, and we will always have that, but just to be able to be free to just say, okay, we can talk to you about whatever. Like, we do support groups, whether you've been in human trafficking, domestic violence. We do classes with teenagers. I go to the high school. I talk to the high school. Like, we're, hey, whatever you need. Like, what are you struggling with? What's going on? I had one girl that was talking about and saying that, she was depressed and stuff, and she just came. She's not pregnant. She just came, and she's like, can you talk to me? Sure, I'll talk to you. Like, we have some people that do it. I have girls that come in here who are homeless, and they sit and they just nurse their baby because they need a safe place to nurse their baby because they're homeless. Wow. Like, that's where we're now able to, like, be free to do that. And then in the midst of all this, praise the Lord, we're actually going medical.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we are the last pregnancy center in Vermont that was not medical, and we weren't medical for 40 years. Now we're going medical, and so please pray for us on that, because that's a whole
Ooh.
new step and stuff. So
Providing medical care, because you does that mean like STD, STI testing?
yep,
Um,
SCS. We're hopefully pray because we're hopefully going to have a midwife who's going to be that'll be coming on board. So that means
your
that
actual birth
yeah,
babies?
we could
Wow.
potentially, there's so many opportunities that we're now able to do that, we'll be able to go out and share with people and stuff.
This is
Um,
awesome.
and we deal with a lot of, I next door about a year and a half ago, we had somebody who got unalived because a drug deal went wrong next door. Like we're in my
Mm,
center is literally in the hood.
mm.
So, we deal with all kinds of stuff. And they all know who I am, and they go, okay, the streets know who I am, everybody, and they go, okay, Gene, we're here, we got it. You're not gonna pressure us to do anything, but everybody knows that I believe in Jesus. Every single
Amen.
person knows that I believe in Jesus. Everybody knows that we are a Christian-based organization. You have our website up. It shows it on our home page. It has a scripture on there. At the bottom, it says
Right.
we're faith-based.
Yeah,
So everybody,
you're not hiding anything. You're very
nope,
you're this is the thing where there's no coercion, there's no a lot of these women come from high coercion groups or people or situations, domestic violence where things are hidden, they're lied to. So the fact that you have everything, I mean, this website shows everything, your options, consulting, pregnancy testing, supportive programs, and the scripture. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalms 139:14. You even have abortion, adoption, and parenting as options that you're going to educate. There's nothing, and then you're saying you're not alone in this. We're here for you. If we could have a center like this, I mean, there are centers like this in different places, and all of them have been impacted by the victory that you pushed through and fought for years. So
yes,
this is a huge victory. And anybody in the Vermont area, the numbers up here. And if you're not in the Vermont area, find your local pregnancy center and donate, call
yes.
something, pray for them, because these places are saving lives. And it's an important thing. And like, you don't take federal government money.
No,
That's crazy to survive in something that doesn't have that in these day and age. So, you rely a lot on donations and the ability to have volunteers and people who dedicate their life to saving families, helping families is what you're doing. So this is
yes.
wonderful. So wonderful. Wow, I love it. All right, I'm going to read a few more comments. Ladies, can you believe we've been talking for almost an hour? It goes by quick.
Very.
I know, it was like, oh shoot, we're gonna do a whole hour out of it. This is an easy, lighthearted conversation. I'm like Oprah without the satanic stuff, So God is so good. All right, so Jean Marie, you deserve your flowers for this.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
you know that. This is what the kids say. Give her flowers. You know what that means.
I admit I don't.
You don't. Thank you, Gabrielle, for being honest. So when you say give her flowers or give him his flowers, it means give them recognition on
Yeah,
the hard work that they did. Like they
yeah,
deserve, like literally, if you were to give someone a flower at the end of a event, they graduated or they won
yeah,
something. So it's like give her
That's great.
recognition.
yeah.
Yeah, give
That's
her
great.
flowers. Yes, we can tell that you're Gen Z when you write like that. You can tell we're not, because people don't know what that means. I think we're all millennials on this panel, but it's all right. We love our Gen Z. Great job. Victory in Jesus, says Topeka. Yes, victory in Jesus. Yes, this is awesome. We're so excited. JCL says, let me get this straight. Gabriella lives in Vermont, Bernie land. I don't think you're in Vermont,
No,
right?
I'm not. No, I'm out in Virginia.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
no.
Yep.
It's me. It's the branches. It's the director.
Yeah.
I live in this estate.
I did grow up in New York, though.
Oh, that's awesome. That toughened you up to be a lawyer, right?
Right.
That's
There we
New York
go.
is.
Yes.
Woo! You gotta be able to think on your feet. Smart women come out of New York for sure. Love it. Wow, amazing. God is so good. Yes, Fat Grammy. Hallelujah and amen. Amazing, says JCL. Yep, Vermont is the most left-wing state in the country. Yeah. So fighting against something this does not want you to survive and had victory. This is awesome. Ladies, is there anything else you want to talk about or say? And chat, is there any questions you have for these brilliant, smart, loving women who just I have to say I love talking to smart women because I feel like, and courageous women. And I mean, I love talking to anybody, but specifically women, because when you put her in a situation where she has to fight and her back is against the wall and she has to fight for children and other women, like you get these warriors that just come out, and it's not talked about enough. And you don't have to be masculine to be a warrior. You can do it in a gentle way. You can do it in an intelligent way. You can do it in a way that's not hitting people over the head or screaming. In fact, that's the best way to do it. And you could do it in the legal way, right? You aren't out there burning Planned Parenthoods or something. Like, you're just like, oh, okay, Vermont, you want to play? We got it. And Gabriella came up and she's like, the New York came out and she was ready to roll. Hey!
Yes. I would say a couple things. One, I know that there was somebody that put a comment that says that they have different views and stuff. I would love to talk to them. So if anybody would like to call and stuff, because like I said, you're talking to someone that I was wanting to unalive my child when I was pregnant and went to a pregnancy center, and to have a conversation, because the other thing about it is with this victory in Vermont, which is huge. I'm the first Black woman in this state to sit in behind this seat as a pro-life person, and to take them to the state. I remember when they first came out with the article, they actually had the attorneys general and I's pictured next to each other, and they thought the attorneys general was the one that was suing. And it was actually, I was like, and they were, oh no, that's not right, they're racist. And then when they realized it was me who was suing, everybody got kind of quiet, like, oh, wait a minute.
Racist, sexist, where? Isn't it sad that people judge so much on the basis of our skin? Yes. Martin Luther King Jr. said not to do that. It's the content of character. But if you don't look the part, people they assume. That's terrible.
Yep. So that's, but I would always encourage, before you judge and go off of what people say about a pregnancy center, I would encourage and almost challenge someone to actually call and talk and go in and just say, hey, like I did with, because the chief of police, she had never been in a pregnancy center. But she said, well, I want you to come to my precinct. And I said, yeah, no, that's not happening. And she's like, come on, just come to our precinct. And I said, I go to your precinct, you come to my pregnancy center.
Yes.
You walk into my pregnancy center.
Educate each other. Yes.
And that's what we did. So she came in and she walked and she realized, she was like, whoa, this is not what I hear. And I go, exactly. Don't go off of what you hear. Go off of what you know and understand. And stuff, and make your own judgment. So that's my
final, love it. Love it. Mm-hmm. And you know what? We got one comment that says, preach. That's from Fat Grammy. Preach. Victory is to be able to show the love, but hold the line. I love it. I love it. And there's a question. Ganja Girl says, question, any tips on how to keep going through the harassment, bullying, and intimidation tactics they implemented to try and silence you? Obviously God, but like what else?
I remember I would have staff meetings and with my volunteers, and I would used to say to them, this is a Gideon fight. If you don't think that you can withstand, I said, I would never question your faith or anything like that, because this is not a normal fight. We're coming up against the state. We're fighting the state, which is essentially we're fighting the government. So if you wanted to walk away, that's fine. And I would tell them that. I would give them option, like, if you don't, you can't. And there were some people that were like, Gene, I don't have the strength. And I said, and I understand, they're still good, friends of the ministry and stuff. And so I would just look at my staff, they would get weary, and I go, come on, let's go. We changed dates. I would change times, and I just said, keep walking, keep going, keep walking. And it was a lot of on our knees praying, okay, God, what's, and me asking the Lord, okay, what's the next step? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to say this? Where do you want me to go? And I would just keep walking. I would have a lot of meetings with the pastors in the community. Even now, now we actually because of this lawsuit, we have actually seen pastors come together, and they actually come to our center and they actually pray on once a month, which is the first time they've ever done that and stuff. And to where we bring unity and saying, I told this board, the pastors and different churches, I don't care if you have odds with each other. I said, I need you to support me. I need an Aaron and a her. I need people to pray for me, because at the end of the day, doors are still going to be open. I'm not going to stop. I used to tell our attorneys all the time, when the devil comes to my doorstep, that's when we'll deal with him. When the government decide, and I went to I would go to my chief of police and I say, listen, I'm going to hand out information. I told I'm going to continue walking, and they go, don't worry. We've had our town manager call the government and say, please leave pregnancy alone. They're helping us. We've had that through this, but because I just kept on holding the line and maintaining the truth. If you have truth and you know that you're doing right and you're not ashamed of what you're doing, then why stop? Why stop? You just keep going. You keep going. If you know that you have done nothing wrong, then you shouldn't be afraid of anything. You should be able to walk and be clear. And that's the thing. Like I just kept going. So yes, it's God, but and then also too, I'm a survivor of sex trafficking, so I will not allow anybody to silence me, period, ever again. So that's another reason why I did it. So
it's a kingdom mindset. Yeah, it has eternal consequences.
Yeah.
Amen. That's right. That's
and
so good.
It also gives people to know, like, okay, I can stand up. Like, if she could do it, so can I.
Yeah.
The scripture says no one is respecter of other. What you can do for one, God can do for another. So that's why I took this battle, because I wanted other pregnancy centers in the nation to know, listen, you can do this too. I talked to other I just talked to a director in New York. They got this, and I encourage them. You could do it. They watch me. There's many pregnancy centers across the nation that watch me and stuff, and they'll call me from Washington to New York, California. They'll call me, and I will encourage them, and I'll walk with them, and I go, come on, we all this together. That's how we stick together. We're one army. We're one body, and we're supposed to encourage each other.
That's right.
And so that's what my answer would be for that young lady or the young man.
It's so good. And she said, very inspirational in so many ways. Really appreciate that I was able to catch the stream. I needed this. Oh, Ganja Girl, thank you so much for watching. She's a regular viewer too. She needed this. This is what we love to do at the Joy Vila Show. Inspirational, empowering content, with the 5 pillars of joy: faith, freedom, finance, fitness, and family. I mean, family, freedom, faith. You're covering 3 major topics that we need. And Fat Grammy says, LOL, you have no idea how God just answered a dilemma in your answer. So
amen.
Fat Grammy had a dilemma, and God just used you to answer it for her. And she says, thank you, Jane. Don't you love that? The Holy Spirit is so good. This is so great. Amy says people need to hear 2 sides. Exactly. So often the voices of survivors and women and are silenced on many sides, on many different angles. And they need to hear 2 sides, and they need to hear the whole side, and it needs to be conversationally looked at, not a debate. Everything's always a debate. Everything's always like me against you. But what if it was us for us? What if it was a unified approach? That no matter where you are and what you're doing, that we helped women and men and children in their situations, in their lowest point. We just shined a light on anything that's going to harm people's freedom, harm people. And that's really what it's about. That's activism. That's truth to power. And that's what we do on the show. I'm so glad you ladies joined us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And they want to see the movie about you. I know. The movie's going to be so good. We're going to show the trailer at the end of the show. I decided we're going to have the trailer. But I want to give the final, anything you want to say, Gabriella, in this fight. Congratulations on this victory.
Thank you. Yeah, I just, just to put a fine point on it, that these pregnancy centers, they are so vital, and they're doing such great work, and they should be free to do that work, to support women, to support families. that are facing unplanned pregnancies without the fear of unjust government harassment. And, you're not alone. As Jean Marie said, you're not alone. And we have a lot of fights going on right now. If you're interested in seeing what Alliance Defending Freedom is doing on all of these fronts, adflegal.org, we have a page for each one of our cases where you can check that out.
That is awesome. I love that you're bringing that power to light. And I want to put that website up here too, because that's important. People often see this and they go, well, what can I do? Right. And what you said is like, hey, you can check out what's going on. You can be a part of it. Look at that. Alliance Defending Freedom. You guys are just such warriors. I love this. So Yakima Union Gospel Mission exists to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to a homeless shelter. So the state of Washington is trying to force them to hire people that don't align with the mission. Like all this forced attacks. It's crazy that you can attack places that just want to help. And yet places that harm are allowed to survive because they bought off judges or bought off things. Or it should not be a popularity contest. It should never be a popularity contest. It should be who's helping the most. So, and look at that victory for Vermont Pregnancy Center. Hey, boop, boop, boop. Here it is. There she is, Miss Jean. No God. Oh, I love it. Is that your car?
That's my car.
Oh my gosh, I love it. But God, look at this. Look at this. This is wonderful. So this is Jean, and then Jean's story. Yeah, we should show this video here after you ladies leave, because we've already kept you for an hour. And then I'll show the trailer, Joy Tribe. So don't go away. But anything else you ladies want to say? You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for defending freedom and for sharing your story today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us.
Yay! Joy Tribe, check these ladies out. Jean, I know we're going to be chatting. We talk every day. Love her. She's my sister. Gabriella, so good to meet you. Anything else you want to come on the show, you're welcome anytime to talk about your other cases and what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. And really appreciate it. And really appreciate the prayers too.
Yes. Prayers. Yes. Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Oh, so awesome. What a great episode. Thank you, Joy Tribe, for your questions, your answers, your topics, your statements, and your prayers. Pray for the Alliance Defending Freedom. Pray for Branches Pregnancy Center. Pray for these ladies who are on the front lines doing a lot. So, and yeah, we want to see that movie too. You guys want to see, can you link it in the chat for the film? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to put the links in the chat to the websites so that you guys can check it out as well. Here it is. Boom. So that's adflegal.org with the articles. And I'm going to put the chat, which is Branches PRC. And she said you can call her, branchesprc.org. That Jean will answer the phone. So you could actually call her and chat about, why somebody would choose to keep their baby and how that can help build the relationship of a mom, especially after pain and suffering, rather than hurt it, So, which I love that. Eliana, love you, Joy. Blessings all. Hi, Eliana. Welcome to the show. So I want to show you guys this video because Jean Marie's story is so good. And then we're going to show on the stage the actual, hold on a second. Let me put this up. Here we go. Boom. We're going to show the trailer of the film, and you guys can help support the film at Breaking Shadows movie.com. This is sharing her story, because once you know Jean, you're just like, it's addicting. I want to know more of her. So the film is going to show her life from prostitution, from trafficking, from drug abuse, from physical, mental, emotional abuse, to being a fighter and what she's doing with the victory. Now we're like, oh my gosh, we got to add this to the movie. I'm writing the script. So watch this. This is
one of the clients came in and she swore up a storm and she was cursing. And I said, excuse me. And she's like, I'm sorry, Jean. I'm sorry, Jean. And I said, okay. I said, how you doing? And she said, I'm okay. And I said, what's going on? And she goes, I didn't have any food to feed my kid. I said, you need some food for your son? And she just looked at me and she goes, yeah, I really do. I said, all right. I said, we'll get you some food. I said, go upstairs. I said, go get you some clothes. I said, you let me know what else you need. And she just looked at me, she said, Jean, she goes, you guys take care of us so much. She said, thank you for all that you do. Hi, I'm G. Marie Davis. I am an overcomer of human trafficking. I was trafficked from the age of 2 to 29. Family, pimps, drug dealers wanted me dead. When I ran because the pimps told me to get out of the state that I was in or I was dead, I found out I was pregnant. I was debating on wanting to have an abortion with my child because I just was trying to get out of a situation. 27 domestic violence shelters denied me and said my situation was too severe. One center, it was a domestic violence shelter in New Hampshire, in Monadnock region, that said, okay, I'll take you. They told me about a pregnancy center, and that's when I met Phyllis Phelps. And she explains to me, I can't help you, but I know a man named Jesus. And so she told me about a program. The program said that it was going to be a $300 entrance fee. And I said to Phyllis, I said, I have $1.38. How am I supposed to get that? And for her to say, don't worry, let's pray about it. And then the next day she had $300. And then they said, no, it needs to be $500. And I said, I don't have the money. And she said, let's pray about it. Every step of the way. That right there is why I chose life, because she did something that I had never experienced before in my life. I went through the program and they taught me how to be a mom. They taught me how to be a working mother, to be an effective person in society. And then I went off into Bible college. From there, she gave me an application to be the director at a pregnancy center. I have no clue how to be a director. What does that look like? And she said, just fill it out, Jean. November 8th of 2022, the board of branches hired me as the executive director. Since then, I've been running with branches just to be able to help women as I was helped when I walked through the doors 10 years ago.
So Vermont has enacted SB 37 that specifically targets pregnancy care centers and their advertising. And one really pernicious thing about this law is that it applies only to pregnancy care centers, only those centers who clearly state that they don't provide or refer for abortions.
Branches Pregnancy Center helps women with the resources of if they're looking for food, if they're needing help to get housing, if they're needing help to get jobs. I've not just focused on the in-house, but I've taken it out to the streets and made it a part of the community, of showing that, hey, we're here for you. And I go and I talk to drug dealers and I say, when you're done with what you're doing, come see me. Because I'm here to help you as well, because you're a man. Regardless that you're a man, you're a father. And you need to get off the streets and you need to stop doing what you're doing and be more an example. We have a client who's having problems with her elevator and she can't go up and down the stairs, and stuff. And she's like, Jean, and I was like, hold on. I said, let me talk to the housing coalition, because I'm on the housing coalition. Let me see what I can do. Or I'm on the homeless committee. Let me see what I can do. I get myself in the trenches so that I know what's going on.
Pregnancy care centers are hardly the enemy. They offer women life-saving care, they offer them resources, and yet Vermont has targeted these centers in particular, saying that they're not free to give women information.
Vermont's coming after pregnancy centers, especially branches, because we do not fit their pro-abortion agenda. A lot of women here are either being prostituted, living in homeless shelters or on the streets or in low-income housing. And so when they become pregnant, they become scared because they feel that there's no one that's going to do life with them. Just like how I was when I first walked through the doors of a pregnancy center. We can help. We're the solution.
Wow. And as you know, she won that case. That's the beautiful thing. She's won that case. And this is huge because she's been trying to battle for 2 years, trying to, get the right to, be able to just function as a pregnancy center. And that's something that is huge. I want to show you guys, that's her number, and that's the number to the pregnancy center. So if you want to make donations, time, volunteer if you're in the area. Vermont's about a 3-hour drive from New York. So if you live in New York, if you want to find out more of her story, if you want to donate to the movie, you can just call her. That's the pregnancy center. If you are in need of help, and if you need help but you are not near the pregnancy center, she'll point you to the right direction. So that's something that we want to do to make sure women are taken care of. And it's a very heartfelt thing for me. It's something that I know that a lot of people don't talk about because they're scared to talk about these kind of topics, but it's something that I personally dealt with as well. I was in a tough situation. I was in an abusive situation, and I was trafficked by an acting agency. I was coerced to, stay in Scientology, and, had abuses there for 15 years. And I was also in a domestic violence situation where I got pregnant. This was like a long time ago, about 20 years ago. And believe it or not. So I was a teenager and I got pregnant and I didn't know what to do. And I went to a pregnancy center much like this, and I adopted out my child, which it's painful because some people, they'll be like, oh, I go, well, yeah, I adopted out my child so that I didn't have to destroy her life. And it's an open adoption. She calls me Mama Joy. And I've shared that story and been very vocal about my pro-life stance. Regardless of what your particular view is on that, women deserve to be treated with dignity who are in these situations. And many women are trafficked, and trafficking is coercion, fraud, lied to either have to do sexual work or labor work. And so tying it into, my personal journey of leaving Scientology, the Secret members in Scientology are trafficked. They are coerced to work 12-hour days, 150-hour weeks, sometimes 100-hour weeks, with very little pay, $47, $57, a week. And they still have to pay for their own, their own shoes, their own skincare, their own toiletries and hygienic stuff. So it's like, imagine if you could only spend $50 a week on that. Like, please, I spend more than that on my nails, the lipsticks that you see on my face. It's like, it's disgusting. And these people are coerced, lied to, defrauded. And that's why Scientology ties into human trafficking, ties into also the forced abortions, ties into pregnancy centers. It all ties into freedom and blowing it out the water. So that's why my particular fight after leaving Scientology and now speaking up about it only 3 weeks ago and sharing my testimony, it's very vulnerable, it's very real, but it has to be said. And if you guys are interested in hearing the rest of my story, the link is in my bio. The link is in my in the space down below. So you can definitely check that out and watch the rest of my testimony, watch the rest of what I'm sharing, read my book. My book is From Scientology to Christ, The Escape They Never Wanted Me to Make. And it is available on pre-order. And Jean's been on my roundtable on abuse, Scientology, and trafficking, because it all ties together. I'm all about freedom. I'm all about escaping it from cult to Christ. I'm all about let's have some truth. Let's have freedom. That is about freedom, right? So yeah, we talk about the deep stuff here. I want to show you guys as well my movie, because the trailer has to do with Jean. It's her story brought to life. So, and I'd love it if you guys can check it out. And if you want to donate to the movie, it's called Breaking Shadows, and you can go to breakingshadowsfilm.com. And this is the official world premiere of the trailer. And I'm going to show you guys right now. I'm super excited. And then I'm going to take some comments from the audience as well. So it's here on YouTube, Breaking Shadows Film, or you can go to breakingshadowsmovie.com. So, and that's here. Look at, this is me live right now. Hey, whoa, it's like being in the Matrix. All right, let's watch this here.
And I am
the director.
Very, very proud.
Antonio Sabato Jr. is the director who's bringing it to life. Super excited. And then, so this is a presentation where you can, we premiered this, which is about a month ago, which is awesome. And then we talked about, you know, the meaning behind the film. You know, you guys know Jean's story, and even more from having her on the show. I know this is going to be so awesome, right, lovely? Yes. And then I also speak about playing Jean in the movie. So we filmed the trailer, but we haven't filmed the feature film yet. It's coming out soon. You know, hearing her share her story, hearing her share her experiences. This woman went through incredible amounts of pain and suffering and degradation, and came out and she's smiling. You know, she's got big cheeks, she's happy, she's talking about Jesus. You guys can see that. So I'm playing Jean from her past, and then we are going to bring it to the future where you see her now. And then we have Natalia, who is Pastor Natalia with Flourishing Studios, who's co-producing the feature, and she shares, you know, so we share you. I encourage you to watch this. It's 10-minute presentation. It's so worth it. And we do need your donations and your help and your prayers and support to bring this film to life. So without further ado, we're going to film next year. Trigger warning, it's intense. Trigger warning, you're very sensitive. Very intense. And I was on men's laps like a little doll. And I fought through it at 12 years old. And I told you I would do whatever it takes, and you didn't answer my prayer. You didn't care. You didn't care. Why won't you kill me now? Why won't you let me die? What kind of God put somebody through this? What kind of God lets me do the things I had to do to survive? Where were you? I want to die! Do I deserve to die? Guys, this is serious. Like, it's so beautiful. Isn't she so awesome? You just called her, Ganja? Oh my gosh. This is awesome. She is so awesome. I tell you, like, one of the biggest things of doing this project with her is I get to have her as my friend, as my sister. We talk every day and have been for months. We used to talk like twice a week. Now we talk every day because I love her so much, her story, her genuineness, her what she went through. We have to show that. And she says it. Her story is not unique. She has been, I'm putting that in the movie too. I'm writing the screenplay. I've written the screenplay, and we're about to bring this movie to life. So Breaking Shadows movie is the actual, website, and where you can donate and help. And I encourage you, please, to check it out. And you can see that again. And, And there's resources there too if you've been through human trafficking. So I'm so glad you called her, gotcha, girl. Oh my gosh, yes. Call her anytime. I'm sure she said to call you anytime. Do I have something in IT? Just now noticed that. Please call her, and you guys can reach out to me, reach out to Jean. Literally, it's not like, oh, can't talk to me, I'm a celebrity. Joy@joyvila.com if you need help getting out of Scientology, if you need help getting out of any kind of situation that we can help you with. Oh, let's get some comments from the chat. ICE should raid the Scientology buildings, mostly foreigners there stalking Americans. Wow, Jim, I love that actually. Yeah, it's sad that they're protected under religious visas. They're trafficked, they're coerced, and they are trafficked because they do labor. It's basically free labor and they bleed the people dry who are Scientologists. They bleed Scientologists dry, saying donate to this, help this, help this. Meanwhile, they're not even paying their Sea Org members barely anything. And they can get away with that because these are volunteers. But people are offered a job. If you want to work at a Church of Scientology, they're saying this is a commitment, and they legally bind you a billion-year contract. They legally bind these people. They hold them hostage. They do not let them out. And yeah, they can physically walk away, but now you have no home, no contacts. They don't let them have cell phones. Very few Sea Org members have cell phones. You can't get out. You can physically get out, but you mentally, it's like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. It's a real thing. That's why advocacy centers for trafficking victims, including Scientology, need to be contacted. And honestly, we need to fight this, and they need to take their IRS religious exemption tax status away. That will crush Scientology, because the buildings are mostly empty. They're dying. Scientology celebrities are leaving left, right, and center. Mostly that's left are people who are trafficked, or who are, third generation. So their children, or second generation that were, forced to do it because it's your family. It's an awful, awful cult that I thought was something good. It was a part of my life for 15 years. It's horrible. Over, yes, 100 hours of work for less than $50 a week. That's not slavery. It's indentured servitude. It's like, what? It's horrible. The case above I mentioned is very sad. What was that case? Let me scroll up and get some of these comments. Teenagers and young adults need education. Thank you, Amy. Look at the case of Alexi Treviso in New Mexico. I'll have to check that out. The film, this is going to be so awesome. It is Lovely Chaos, because we're going to get to show the victory too, get to show her life. And you said I might take that up on calling her, and then you called Jean. You guys can call Jean. Take it up. Do it. If she says it, do it. Mary Cacciatore Garrison. Hello, Mary, my favorite Italian here. We have to get the word out. Absolutely. We got to make this movie happen, and we are doing an amazing a fundraiser gala that you can get tickets to, and it's happening in October. We moved it from June to October. There's just too much happening in June. Thankfully, we moved it. So this is happening 17th of October, 5 p.m. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. This is going to be awesome. Jean, you'll get to meet Jean Marie Davis. You'll get to meet me. You'll get to meet Antonio. You get to meet Natalia. The speakers, Breaking Shadows, the red carpet film fundraiser. We want to end human trafficking. So you're invited to attend. It's going to be awesome. So go to Breaking Shadows Gala or BreakingShadowsMovie.com. Breaking Shadows Gala is where you can get the tickets. It's going to be in Ocala, Florida, or you can email me if you need the links. And yeah, we want to bring some attention to these atrocities and eradicate them. Eradicate them. No more. No more. Let's go. Let's get it out. My heart is breaking so hard to watch. So glad this program's here to help. God bless. Oh, I love you, Mary. We want to stop human trafficking. It's very intense. We want to stop Scientology. We want to stop cults. We want to stop coercion. Did you hear about the No Kings protest that's happening on Saturday? Let's hope those punks behave. No. Child labor laid bricks on LRH Way in LA. I know, and I used to attend that. Isn't that horrible? child labor. Awful, awful. And while they're at it, put in metered parking. Yeah. I painted some of those. I was in the EPF to join the Sea Org. I was in the Sea Org for a month. That's the EPF. And I was on staff. But when I was there, I wanted to join it. They said, oh, they tell you all kinds of astronomical, spiritual things will happen, and you're saving the planet and you're helping people. It's so wicked and so sci-fi fantasy. If it wasn't dangerous, it would just be a sci-fi fantasy. But people are I spent almost $2 million. I donated, paid for services, and was left depressed and broken. And I'm telling my story of leaving Scientology, and I'm not going to stop. From my book, From Scientology to Christ, the escape they never wanted me to make. And it's available on pre-order, guys. I'm so excited. Please pre-order my book, support. Hopefully, if this broadcast has moved you, donate to the pregnancy centers, donate to, go get the film. Like, there's all kinds of resources for you. No excuses. Like, if this has moved you, please help in some way, shape, or form. And you can also pre-order my book, so you can read about it. You can get educated about it. From Scientology to Christ, the escape they never wanted me to make. And that's available on Amazon. Just go to Amazon, and the link is in my bio down in right here on YouTube. If you're watching on Instagram, you missed the whole interview with Gene. I'm sorry I didn't press play on Instagram, but come to YouTube and watch it, because we're live streaming every day at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. I'm going to jump off here soon, but this is the cover of my book. Super awesome, isn't it? And somebody pointed out that it looks like Mission to Earth, L. Ron Hubbard's insane sci-fi books. And that's why I did it on purpose, to look like one of L. Ron Hubbard's insane sci-fi. It's a bit of it's a dig for sure. You see that in the 80s, they would make those From Scientology to Christ in the bubble letters, and you could feel that. I've read tons of sci-fi. I've only read one of L. Ron Hubbard's books, and it's so hard to read. His Mission Earth books, they're hard to read, and they're weird. And in Scientology, we'd be like, oh, he's such a genius. He's sharing all kinds of OT secrets. And he was a witchcraft, insane, evil genius that controlled a lot of people and got a lot of money out of people, and used child slave labor and assaulted people, and was a horrible dad on 3 marriages, abandoned his kids and his ex-wives, abused many people. He was an awful, evil person. And they lied to us and said he was good. But it's, when you have $2 billion, Scientology has $2 billion, but not a lot of people. So they're getting desperate, and we are breaking them down. Did you see the Audit LA's interview with Jamie Kennedy? I should do a whole episode about that, because I was like, whoa, it's so good. And let me know if you want me to do an episode about that. But I am going to jump off. Please pre-order my book, support the channel, like, subscribe, share, keep commenting. Replay crew, keep commenting, because I read it all. Yes, that's right. Tables are $1,000 for the gala. And that includes 8 seats. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Oh, is my baby in the room? I'm allergic to his bullshit. He's in the other room. Yeah. So that goes to support the film and to make the movie, and to also support the anti-human trafficking initiatives that we're starting. The movie's going to start a huge movement, right? It's not just about creating a film. Obviously, the film is super important, creating awareness, but it's also we have a lot of plans, and we're going to premiere the movie at the White House, because we got invited to do that. So we need to make it first, and we do need your help. So go to breakingshadows.movie.com, breakingshadows.gala.com, and get a ticket. Get your company, your business to sponsor a table so you can come for free. That would be the best thing. And then it's a tax write-off, because it goes to help end human trafficking. So yes. They say the Sea Org are highly respected, but treat them like dirt. Oh yeah, we all in Scientology highly respected the Sea Org, because we thought that they were treated well. And then you realize they're packed into a bunk. The Big Blue building is an old hospital building, and there's like 6 beds. They pack in there, bunk beds. It's terrible. Thank you. Thank you, Florence. Bless you. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Amber, for being on the live. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes. Absolutely, Ganja girl. Absolutely. You speaking truth. Bless you. Thank you. Where can I see the interview of Audit LA with Jamie Kennedy? On YouTube. I was watching it before I did the show. You can watch it on YouTube. It's so good. And you should watch it. Let me see if I can find the link. I'm gonna go over it tomorrow too, to talk about it. Let's see. I'm trying to find it on my YouTube. So, but we're gonna, if you actually look up Audit LA, Jamie Kennedy, I'm pretty sure you can just find it. Streets LA, yep, Audit LA. And it should be on there on his channel too. He does some good work. I didn't even know. He did such good work. And then the fact that he sat down with Jamie Kennedy, oh my gosh, so awesome. It just came out like 10 hours ago. So, I'm sure Aaron's going to do something about that. Okay, here it is. I'm going to show you guys and I'm going to jump off here because this is so good. I was like, what? I just found out about it. So here's
what I want to say. The last Top Gun made over $1 billion.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they're talking about Tom Cruise there. All right.
How can you not make that work? They can't because they're getting smaller. They're
18
shrinking.
hours ago.
They're hurting for operating capital. They have these properties. They don't have cash.
Are they going to sell one?
That's a key thing. I want to put enough pressure on them where the operating capital gets so low, they have to start selling these properties. Or we want to end them once and for all. We remove their tax exempt status.
Come on now. The truth. Isn't this great? Here, let me find it.
Status.
So I've been watching. I'm going to put the link in the description or in the chat right now because it's so good. That's the interview. Here we go, Amy. You got to be up on this. Woo! It's happening, guys. Jesus is so good. God is so good. He's my Lord and Savior. He's delivered me from Scientology, and I thank him when I see these videos because he's working through people like Jamie Kennedy, like Audit LA, Streets LA, who are doing God's work. Whether you believe in God or not, you're doing God's work because shutting down Scientology is doing God's work. Oh, Streets LA and Audit LA are different people. Oh, I'm sorry. Those are different people. My mistake. I thought maybe they were different, but I thought it said Streets LA, Audit LA.
Them status.
Oh,
You ever see a dark side?
I mean, you are right? Audit LA is different than Streets LA. Okay, so that's Streets LA. My bad. Oh, really? Scientology Audit Streets LA. And then there's Audit LA. Guys, it's too confusing. I'm sorry. The people's Karen. Look at this. Oh, my bad. He's a smaller creator. We got to support. Thank you, Fat Granny. I meant to say with Streets LA. Because his page is Scientology Audit, Streets LA. And then there's Audit LA. Support both of them. So the interview was with Streets LA, not Audit LA. My mistake. Thank you. Both are awesome. So there we go. You're welcome for the link, Amy. You're welcome. When I was 5, I moved into the big blue building, aka Pack. Amber, thank you for sharing your survivor story. And the bunk beds were 4 high. I thought it was the coolest thing to sleep that high. You were 5 years old. Talk about child labor trafficking. Oh my goodness. God bless you, Amber. We love you. We love our survivors here. I'm so sorry it happened to you. Streets LA. Yeah, William Good. Scientology Audits, aka Film the Police LA. It's like a rapper. They got so many names. So yeah. That's right. When will you visit Dallas with a Rose Unifier? Good to see you. Did you get your YouTube back? Because your Instagram, because you were also speaking on trafficking. Yeah, because you got your Instagram taken away. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to visit Dallas, but give me a reason to. Let's do it. I got to get on your show. We still have to do the interview. Follow Unifier TV. He has a great show. You just move to YouTube, although it's not like YouTube's been great to me either. I'm super shadow banned, but at least hopefully you won't get taken down. And then Rumble, I'm on Rumble. I'm live streaming on Rumble. Twitch, X is probably the best, but yeah. Huge push, 5 p.m. your time today. Hugs. Oh, for what's happening in Los Angeles. Let me see if I can do it. Savannah. Oh my gosh, I'd love to come visit. Oh, Maya Flores is getting divorced. Oh, I'm sorry. Definitely got to support her. It's not easy to get divorced. I'm divorced too, and I got remarried to love of my life. So praying for her. Yes. Amber, I'm so glad you made it out. So much love to you, Amber. Thank you for sharing your story at 5. I cannot even imagine. Yeah, Rumble. Follow me on Rumble. I'm trying to get it. Rumble's just it's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother space to try to set up. But I'm on there. Follow me. Rumble's definitely they've got more people coming in. I'm at Joy Vila on Rumble. I've got 21 followers. Can you guys do me a huge favor? Follow me on Rumble, because if I get taken off of YouTube, which, worse things have happened. Here we go. Here's all my episodes are also on Rumble. So I'm at Joy Vila, just my name. Like my little Trump dress there. I only have 21 followers. So they apparently don't, see, I only got 1 viewer, it says. They don't shadow ban. That's what they said. So I've got 21 views on these videos, 32 views and 21 followers. So that seems pretty accurate. We obviously want to get some more views on there, but so you can see all my stuff, breaking news. You can just go in and roasting the Met Gala. That was a really popular one on Instagram. And then where's my Scientology episode? Why I left Scientology. That's this one. Only 75 views on Rumble, but that's good for only having 21 followers. And meanwhile, it has like over 5,000 views on YouTube, which is not that much because I have 60,000 subscribers on YouTube. How is my stuff only shown to 5,000 of you guys? It's insane, but that's the name of the game. I'm not going to stop. Link, and I will. You wanted to come talk about it at 5 p.m. I have to see my schedule. We might have to have you on, Miss Mona. Today's Wednesday. Oh, you know who I am going to be on? Blown for Good, Claire Headley. I'm going to be on Blown for Good with Claire today. That is today. I'm super excited for that, Joy Tribe. That is going to be exciting, and I cannot wait. I don't know if she's doing a live stream or if she's doing I have to check my calendar. This is the name of the game, guys. Let's just, I don't even know what I'm doing until I look at my calendar. Yes, with Claire Headley at 2 p.m., Blown for Good. So I don't know if she's doing it, if we're doing it live or if we're doing it. No, sorry, that's Wednesday. That's not today. That's Wednesday. It's going to be Blown for Good. Today's Tuesday. So yeah, tomorrow is happening at 2 p.m. and I'll find out. That'll be 2 p.m. Eastern with Claire Headley at Blown for Good. I'm so excited to be on her show. She reached out. Today, we might be able to do a 5 p.m. live stream to talk about what's happening in Los Angeles and go over. Why don't we do it? Oh, sorry, this view is raunchy. It's just looking at a big black screen. 5 p.m. Eastern. The Headleys are nice people. Am I saying it right? Headley or Headley? I love, oh man, their story just breaks my heart. The lawsuits. Yeah, 5 p.m. Eastern. Can you do 5 p.m. Eastern? I can do that. I'll put it in. Let's do it, Fat Grammy. 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do a live to talk about the lawsuits, to talk about the Los Angeles. Can you, yeah, perfect. That's perfect. LA protest, exactly. Talk about the protest. You guys all be on here 5 p.m. Eastern. Yes, let's do it. Yay. Look at you guys twisting my arm. I love it. I love my Joy Tribe. 5 p.m. to talk about the LA protest. Yes. And by LA protest, we're not talking about the ICE raids protest, the violence and craziness that's going on. We're talking about the anti-Scientology protest for Father's Day happening in 5 days. I will not, unfortunately, be able to be there, but I want to support it with everything I can. So yes, yes. Oh, Unifier says, I'm a huge fan of your hair. Your hair's epic. Did you change it again? Looks like you have twists. Thank you. No, it's just, you know what? It's in a ponytail. And because it's early morning, you know what I mean? I just put this scarf on my head. Do you guys want to hear something crazy about this scarf? and only watching. We have 300 people watching live, which is awesome. A lot of my live streamers are on X, so which I appreciate you, X. Shout out to X, because it also doesn't censor. And Twitch, and I can't see my Rumble viewers. It doesn't show me here, or my Instagram viewers, but I know you guys are watching here. This is actually, so yeah, it's just pulled in a ponytail with a little floof poofed out, so you can kind of see it, no twists. But this scarf, I actually got in Scotland. Nobody's going to believe me. This is the L. Ron Hubbard official Scottish print, because I went there and spoke to the Scottish org. And they were so kind to me and so sweet in Scotland, in Edinburgh. And I did book selling in Edinburgh. And they gave me this. It's an official, it's supposed to be the print. I forgot the name, but they have different tribes in Scotland with prints, different families, different, I'm not using the correct word for it, and they have their own print, Scottish print, right? You guys, come on, where my Scots at? And so this is the official L. Ron Hubbard thing. And I thought of giving this away, but I'm at the right time talking about our Scots. Clans, Jojo Bananas. So thank you, Unifier. Appreciate you. Tartan, yes. This is a tartan. This is the official L. Ron Hubbard tartan. Isn't this weird? I was so honored when it was gifted to me by the ED of Edinburgh org. Clans, not tribes, but they're called clans. Jojo Bananas came in just in time. She said, hey, I'm at the right time talking about our Scots, the Scots. You're a true Scot. I didn't know you were Scottish. Are you in Scotland? Are you American Scottish? This is crazy awesome. We're coming back at 5 p.m., by the way, to do a 5 p.m. chat. Let me make a little banner for this. 5 p.m. Eastern live with Fat Grammy, Scientology protests LA. All right, so I'm putting that banner down here. This looks so big, but 5 p.m. So you guys know we're going to do a live with Fat Granny, Scientology protests Los Angeles, what we're going to talk about. And so she's going to join me 5 p.m. Eastern. So definitely that I have the time. Thank you for asking, Minister Mona. We love it. Yeah, it's a Hubbard tartan. If it's a Hubbard tartan, it's probably been appropriated. 1,000% team. That's 1,000% been appropriated. Listen, I can do an Irish accent, but I can't do a Scottish accent. Scottish is a little bit harder to do. You're pure Scottish near Glasgow. Am I speaking like a Scot tartan? This is the L. Ron Hubbard tartan. It is. I sound like a pirate. Arr. Teach me how to speak like you. I love the Scottish accent. Near Glasgow. I was in Edinburgh. I can do more of an Irish accent. It's been appropriated. If it's a Hubbard tartan, it's probably been appropriated. It's been stolen. Absolutely, it's been stolen. That's Irish, exactly. It was Irish with a pirate accent. But is it near Glasgow? I'm not a true Scot like Jojo Bananas. So this is a tartan that was given to me. And I thought many times of throwing it away. But I thought, why? And then I thought, when I came out of Scientology, I thought, I can actually show it to everybody. And now I can't get out of the Irish accent, Joy Tribe. You look what you've done. You got me to do this Irish accent. I used to believe I was Irish in a past life. That's what Scientology taught me. And so now I just put it in my hair. I happen to put it in my hair because I was like, I want it to be cute. I just out of my way. And so this is literally the Scottish tartan of L. Ron Hubbard. Of course, appropriated. He's not Scottish. He never was. Maybe his family lineage was, but it's like so BS. He appropriated everybody's culture. He tried to say he was Buddha and Jesus Christ didn't exist. This is just insane. You're pretty good at the Irish accent. Thank you, Jojo Bananas. I've been told I'm pretty good at the Irish. I was in Ireland for a while. So I lived in the UK for about 2 years, and I'd visit Dublin. I'd go to Ireland and see my friends, and I said, Seamus, if you ain't making me rabbit stew, then I ain't gonna come visit you anymore. And so they started making me rabbit stew, and I had a good Irish beer, and then I felt comfortable again. And my husband's Irish in his descent; he's actually American, but So I said, it's something that But let me tell you about the Irish. We never enslaved anybody. Okay, we never had slaves like you Americans. All right, we were the good ones. We just made people laugh. Just made people laugh. We had a good lay in the bed, the sack, made you laugh, told you stories. This is a true story. When I arrived in Dublin, my Uber driver told me, you're from America, lass. Well, we never had slaves. All right. The Irish stood up for the people that were beaten down. We never enslaved anyone, but the old English, oh, those dirty bastards, they enslaved us. And I was like, wow, I kind of love Ireland. Like this, I got a whole tour from my Uber driver. That's a true story. And he was Irish as hell, exactly what you would think. He had like long Irish hair. He was a leprechaun. And I fell in love with the Irish. I said, one day I'm going to marry an Irishman, because they're so funny. They're so cute. They talk well. The Scots, of course, are the warriors of that area, the clan, the Scottish clan. So masculine, manly, and the women are so strong warrior women. And like, I just love the Scots and the Irish. And I loved being in Edinburgh. It's not Edinburgh or Edinburgh. It's Edinburgh, right? The Irish are awesome. Yes. Hubbard's ethnicity was English, Irish, and small amounts of German, Dutch, and Welsh. We'll see. Listen, leave it to JCL. He knows the stuff. I don't ant that Scottish tartan, not on our land. She's a photographer? Thank you. I'm just glad that you said my accent's pretty darn good. Irish it is. Can't do the Scottish accent. I want to hear you talk. The Irish are awesome. Exactly. Edinburgh. Thank you. See, American would say Edinburgh. It's Edinburgh. I was taught that by Scots in Scotland, Scotland. Well done pronouncing Edinburgh correctly. Thank you. Gig photographer. Ooh. Do you do the was it the Fringe Festival? Is that the Fringe Festival that's isn't that out in Scotland, or is that in the UK? In the outside of London. I thought it was in Scotland, the Fringe Festival. But yeah, I got to jump off here, guys. I'll be back at 5 p.m. Eastern, because I'm on the Eastern, and we're going to have a rock and roll time, and we're going to get into it with Fat Granny. She's going to be on my show talking about the Scientology protests in LA, which are happening in 5 days on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, and happy Men's Mental Health Month. Please, men, reach out to your ladies and to other men. Do not go through it alone. Men often don't speak about being, under oppression and feeling sad and being depressed. So men, this is Mental Health Awareness Month in June. So please, we shout out to the men. We love our men. Please talk about it to somebody. We love you. So, and yeah, okay. So yes, Fringe Festivals in Edinburgh. That's right. Well, you should get on that, JoJo. Get on that. I'm sure you can take some good pictures there. 5 p.m. I'll see you tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern. Bye. Bye, everybody. Love you guys. So joyvilafitness.com if you're interested in losing weight, getting in shape, and finding a team that help you do it too. That's me. You don't have to do it alone. Personalized personal training, all online. Personalized custom meal plans, targeted my Curvy Confident Queen transformation program, and my Rich Strong King transformation program. We will help you lose the weight. I have 6-month plans, a 3-month plan for those of you who just want to get toned up, strengthened, more muscular, or lose just a little bit of weight. 6-month plan I always recommend, because that gives you enough to keep you going, the accountability. And then the year-long plan, if you need to lose 50 pounds plus, 9 months basically turns into a year. So I have a few people on 9 months, but I like to do a year, because then we can help you keep up those good habits, because it's habit coaching and it's faith-based. Praise God.